and welcome to Model Kit Stuff and another Focus on Tools video, and today we're looking at one of my all-time favourite tools. In fact, of all my photo etch tools, this is the only one I absolutely would not live without. It's brilliant. So what is it? Well, it comes from a company called The Small Shop in the USA, and they call it the Photo Etch Bending and Rolling Deluxe Brass Assist. I like to call it an etch rolling tool. It's just quicker. So what we have here is the bending and rolling tool, and I also have the extension set. So we're going to have a look at both of these today. So why is it one of my favourite tools? Well, the reason is there are tools that you buy and use occasionally and they're handy when you need them, and there's tools that you absolutely have to have, and they're essential. This isn't an essential tool, but since I've had it, I've enjoyed it every time I've used it. In fact, every time I've used it, I've gone, thank goodness I've got this tool. That's why I like this tool so much, because I never regretted buying it, and it's not cheap, but it has made such a difference to the finish of what I can do when it comes to bending and rolling. So let's have a closer look at what it does. So this retails for around about $65 if you buy it direct from the Small Shop in the US. In the UK, you can get it through Hysterex agents, who are their distributor. And so I'm guessing there's other distributors across Europe. And what you get when you buy the basic piece of kit is you get this aluminium block, and you get these metal rolling pins. So 5 of them that all sit in these 5 grooves. And what you've got is 5 grooves there of different diameters. You've got some spacers there. I'll show you what they're for in a minute. And then on the end here, you've got some cutouts, which are actually for wire forming as well. So again, for bending, but for making handles, that type of things. If you're an armoured fighting vehicle modeler, that's really quite handy. And then if we flip it over, we have a rubber pad, which you use for forming, and we'll show you how all of that works in a minute. Then if you buy the extension pack, you get another 3 metal rollers, all smaller diameters, and then you get some wooden rollers as well, all of them different diameters to the metal ones that you've already got. So basically you get a bigger range of dowels. So I already know what some people are thinking. They're thinking, well, yeah, you don't really need that. You can just roll a bit of photo etch on your cutting mat using a knife. Like that. And if you use enough force, you'll just about start it, maybe. And you can get a bend, and actually it doesn't work that well. And the reason is cutting mat's just too hard. So you do see people, quite a lot of people, using spongy sanding sticks. Now this is an extra fine one, so it's almost smooth on the top, so you're not going to damage anything by using this. So let's see how that works. Again, I'm going to use a knife because that's quite a common trick. It's something you've always got to hand. See, that's a lot better, isn't it? And we can roll that and make a really nice curve. Brilliant. And that's how you make a curve. Fantastic. So you don't need one of them rollers. But actually that curve's way too big. I need a much smaller curve. I need a curve much tighter than that. Well, could always use a cocktail stick, I suppose. Well, that's not quite getting what I wanted. The problem is, if you've not got a purpose tool, you're scrubbling around for things of different diameters to try and form your curve. And that was the problem I had before I had the tool. You're improvising. You're trying to find something that does the job, and it's hit and miss whether you can get it bang on. And the number of railings I ruined trying to put a curve, especially when you want a full 360 tight curve, it was just a problem. So that's where this tool comes in. So first of all, what this tool can do is it can form a curve fairly instantly, perfect curve, and all you need to do is get a peg, put your photo etch across it, get one of your dowels, and just press it into the groove. And you've got perfectly formed curve. And how quick was that? And you can also then use that starting curve on this rubber mat, which is just the right amount of resistance to roll nicely. It is a little bit firmer than this, but not much. And I can then use the pin to make the shape that I want. Obviously this is a bit long, so I'm making a U rather than a full. So there you go. Just by pressing on the mat, we can get quite a tight curve fairly quickly. And it's perfectly formed. It's a thing of beauty. So the advantage of this is that you can form curves of all sorts of different sizes fairly quickly. If you're thinking about ship decks and railings, have some form of curve on them at some point. Gun tubs, lots of curves for gun tubs, gentle curves, things like that. All of them can be done on this. It gets you right where you need to be, nice and quickly. So it saves you a load of time, and you know that it's going to work every time rather than it being a bit hit and miss. You've not got to be searching through your drawers finding something of the right diameter. Now some of these smaller ones you can use in here for rolling. So if I take this bit of scrap etch and show you, you can use that for rolling as well. Gives you a nice tight curve. But I tend to use the smaller ones on this soft mat. If we do it there, and all you need to do is press down and move it backwards and forwards, and you can make as tight a curve as you like. In no time at all, a nice perfect curve. So the advantage is you've got lots and lots of different diameter dowels, which so far I haven't come across a rolling job, a forming job, where one of these dowels wouldn't do it for me. Yeah, from that point of view, it's really, really handy. The other point that I wanted to make is that things like using this can be problematic if you've got bigger diameter materials. So if you were doing the front of a fender on a 1/16 scale tank, you ain't going to do it on that. You can easily do it on that because it's wide enough. I've used this predominantly for ship's railings. Ship's railings are very delicate, and some of them can be very fine indeed, especially at 1/700 scale. And I find very fine things you're better to roll right from the off. If it's a little sturdier, then I'll go with that. So at thick railings, 1/350 trumpeter railings, I'll start in one of these grooves. But at 1/700 railings, we just roll it on this pad. I'm going to try and show you rolling a really nice tight curve. So using the rods, I can get down to that comfortably, and then I can then finish that on this mat. There we go. Now another thing I can do on here that I can't do on an improvised rolling mat is a very gentle curve. So I'm thinking now of railings on a bow that are coming in gently. So I can take this larger wooden dowel and drag it across, and it makes a really gentle curve, which means that my railings are starting to face inwards, and when I come to glue them down, they're not trying to flick back all the time. So there's all sorts of stuff that I've found that I can do with this that I've not been able to do on other improvised tools. So I have found that sometimes annealing the etch is useful, particularly on larger parts. So if you're doing, I don't know, fuel drums or something like that, you might want to do that. The other thing that you can do is start with a larger size and then progressively go through the smaller sizes to get a tighter curve. So you just have to play around with it and find what works for you. It depends on what sort of models you make. But every time I use this, I thank myself for having bought it. It's a great little tool and I can't recommend it enough. Now, it's not an essential tool because obviously there's lots of different ways you can struggle to roll your photo etch. But this is something that I would say, if I was only going to buy one photo etch tool, it wouldn't be a bending tool, because there's so many different and easy ways to do folds. You just need a straight edge. But rolling is a lot more problematic. So for me, the rolling tool is probably the first etch tool you buy, because it is just so useful. It's a high quality tool. It's precision made, anodized, which means hardened aluminium, and rollers. It will last you your lifetime. I've had this, I don't know, 5 years maybe, something like that. And yeah, so far it's as good as new, and I use it quite a bit one way or another. So the bending tool here, the comb at the front, there's so many different spaces that I'm pretty sure you'd cover all of your needs. What I would say is, just like any other wire bending tool, soft to medium wires only. Harder wires would need annealing first, otherwise you might get a bit of flick back and do yourself an injury. But it should do everything you need. Copper and brass wire, not a problem at all. There you have it, the photo etch rolling tool from the small shop. Okay, hope that was useful. If you were considering buying one of these and you've got the money, just do it. Right, take care everyone, enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon.